So yeah, we here. I guess I'm gonna give Tobias a few minutes. We see if he comes in. I just want to see if he can illuminate. I want to see if he can illuminate a couple of the things that he might be able to explain better. Like if he could, because see, I might not even be interested. You got a lot of people that don't like that about me. Is that like if somebody say, look, uh, this person want to talk to you, right? Then I ask them what they want to talk about. Because if you want to talk about something that, I can save both of us that time, if I can save both of us that time, right, and just let you know up front that I don't want to talk about that. Yeah, I don't got that sleep. True self. Yeah, we just giving last stream battery died. Right now we giving Tobias a chance to come back in and see if he can we giving Tobias a chance to see if he can come back in and at least let me know the things that he feels he can explain to me face to face, right? What do they pertain to? Because I might be able to save both of us. I might be able to save both of us a whole bunch of time and let him know that, look, there's no, like for instance, look, if he wants to come have a conversation with me, right, that white Jesus is real, I can save him that time. If you want to have a conversation with me about how you got the best chilling recipe this side of the Mississippi, I can save you that time. And me. What's up with Tobias? Tobias is Tobias is attracted to the social equality, amongst the 5%. What kind of name is Tobias? You gotta ask his parents. But like with a lot of people, there's some things that you can be, right? Like, look, you can be uh, you could be a Democrat, right? Without ever having, met the Democrats. You know what I'm saying? You could be a Democrat and, you've never been to the Democratic National Convention. You could just, well, I see things in a similar fashion to other people that call themselves Democrats, right? Uh, you know, but there's other things like, you can't be a Navy SEAL, right? Without going through the Navy SEALs, the Navy SEAL qualifications, right? And I bring that up because specifically, the Navy SEALs have it's actually more than one individual that actually he actively goes around and seeks out people that are falsely claiming to be Navy SEALs. That's a much more kind of compact brotherhood, where, of course, just as military people, they going around doing what they doing, they having experiences together. And Tobias got those two things confused, where he thinks you can be in 5% in the way that you could be a Democrat. Where, you just heard these people speaking on TV and, you like Jimmy Carter better than Ronald Reagan, so you a Democrat. Like you never met any of these people, but, you voted for Dukakis, Mondale, Clinton, you just voted for those people, but you never, you never met any of them, or really even know what they stand for. As opposed to the Navy SEALs, where you got to go through a rigorous qualification process before you even get to the training process, right? Which you also, have to perform a certain level within the training, right, to maintain your qualification. Like it's the Marines, that's one of them places where, look, as soon as you get there, right, they make sure you healthy, strong, and good breeders. Like you don't see fat people in the Navy SEALs, or the Marines even for that matter. Executive sessions. Welcome to the channel. What is this last symbol there? Can't figure that one out. I see what the popcorn is, but the other thing I don't see it. Well, I see it, I don't know what it is. You say he knows a lot of mutual 5%. Who does he know? I don't know. Tobias, if Tobias comes in, we'll ask him if he's gonna make it. Oh, I see. But yeah, who's because he said that yesterday. He said that we know a lot of the same people. You know, I had to tell him like, Pete, you know, don't get nobody lined up. don't 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 have me ask somebody how is it possible that, you know, they rolling with you. But who have you seen? Who have you seen him know? And what is, see, even when people be saying they know this person, like some people, I met them before. You know, that's when people be saying they know somebody, there's different levels of you know, like there's people that look, I know who he is. But if they say this person, I know who he is. You know, you know that person is, I met him before. And then there's people that, you know, I walk miles with, like, oh yeah, nah, I just know the guy. Cuba said there was a time I wanted to build with you one-on-one regarding the 2 million Indians and the knowledge of culture. At this time, understanding is understood. I'm grateful. Oh, the mathematician. How did that science ever resolve? Did his daughter is safe now? But yeah, he put that up. But I mean, that was you know, that was somewhere on the internet. Like he reposted it. Like that's good. But I mean, I don't think he know. I don't think he know Infinite. Yeah, they say yeah. He, you know, he think he can name drop. But see, here's the thing, right? Uh, you know, name dropping is a double edged sword, depending on who it is you're dealing with. You understand what I'm saying? Yeah, the wordsmith. Oh, the wordsmith. He actually wrote me a letter. I got to write him back. You know the wordsmith. But yeah, he wrote me a letter. Uh, it's actually over here in the computer room. You just reminded me. I didn't even open it yet. Cause you know the wordsmith. You got to be in there. You got to be in the right mindset. Um, but yeah, that's what I was saying. That, you know, name dropping can work both ways. See, because listen, if if you go somewhere, right? Some of y'all may have experienced this, right? If you go somewhere and you say, "Yeah, I'm in tune with Darkim," you know, that's tune with the Christ, JoJo dancing. You know, uh, there's going to be a certain expectation on you too. Like, just like for me, that's a devil. Like if a person say they walk with Allah, right? They don't know no lessons. No aspect of their life reflects their existence as a God. That becomes a shameful thing. You know what I'm saying? Like if a person, comes up and tells you, look, I got a degree from Harvard. I got a medical degree from Harvard, right? But, they living in a tent city. You gotta wonder what happened there. How is it that you started with that foundation right there, and this is where you ended up at? So if you know all of these brothers, man, and you've been interacting with them, see, like I said, don't get nobody lined up. Because, that's the real deal. Like, look, I've been there before. Where, we run into the guys, right? So we going through the degrees, right? And I know my degrees, right? You know what I'm saying? We go through everything, I show and prove. The brother that I'm with, he don't know his degrees. So the question is, to me, what have you been doing all day, right? What have you been doing your duty? How are you walking around with him and you know your degrees and he don't know his degree? What the fuck have you been doing? I thought your duty is to teach. So see, that's what I would want to know is who's these people that's been hanging around this colored man whose name is Father? Who, when asked what his name means, he says that he's a father because when he got the knowledge, it born the king inside him. I would have to wonder, as a 5%, are you like me in that didn't hit you when he told you that his name is Father, to ask him, hold up, what you mean by that? Because in this, you're not a father. Like, Scrams, we all here on planet Earth, right? You the last man in the building. Of everybody. Of everybody on the planet, you the last man in the building, but your name is Father. Wouldn't you say that, the individuals being around him is a little bit remiss? See, people hanging with him. See, that'd be the type of thing that I find out about somebody where it'd be like, see, I wish I didn't know that. That's the reason why I got off Facebook. Because see, that's like another side of your existence where you could be around this colored man calling himself Father. trying to say that the brown man is not, the brown seed is not Allah. And you with this individual, what do you know about it? Because look, maybe he's saying these things and you don't know he's saying them. Maybe he don't say them when he sees you or you see him or whatever the case may be. Say that you was unaware that he made these statements, that this was his mindset. So I don't think, I think he's probably associated with people like, look, he probably go somewhere now, right, and say, yeah, I've built with Darkim. In his world, in his reality, that's not real. That ain't your friend, that's some shit right there. He said, he asked you today to agree, and you ain't quoted, he hung up on you. See, that's that 5% shit right there. That's that 5% shit right there. The guy called you, asked you to agree, and you ain't quoted right, he just hung up on you. Like, I ain't even hung up. That's some 5% to the bone shit right there. Only the 5%. Fuck all that other shit I don't get now. Tobias, that's the color man that just came on at the end. I don't know if he was in there. I don't know. Everybody hit the like button. See if we can get the what's the names to go out. See if we can get Tobias back in here. But yeah, Tobias, he's a colored man who he's been exposed to the 5%. And like I was telling the brothers that a lot of people, they look at the 5% as kind of like the Democratic Party, right? Where many people have never met anyone in person affiliated with the Democratic Party. Like if you were to ask them, okay, what is the exact platform of the Democratic Party? What is their position on this issue or that issue? They might know some, issues that pertain to them in particular, right? But if you ask them, just all the different things, the history, the founding, right? The direction, the different accomplishments, the different failures, right? They wouldn't know that. But it's still perfectly okay for them to be Democrat. You know what I'm saying? They could say, they voted for, Dukakis and Mondale, Klein, et cetera, right? But then you have other things, right? Like I gave the example of the Navy SEALs, where every step of the way in the Navy SEALs, you got to be qualified. Like you got to be qualified before you even go over there, before they even ask you how it is you get in the Navy SEALs. You got to already be, for them to even consider that proposal or that request. See, before you even get in the Navy SEALs, right? When you was in the Marines, you already, you already, had a rigorous qualification just in terms of you being healthy, strong, and good breeding. Like you're not going to be overweight. Then after that, you got to go through the brother was saying, I guess he was saying the name of the test, the physical training and all that is called buds. You know, for you to take the test, for you to be qualified to be in there. And then once you get in there, you got to continue to be qualified. It's not like, oh, you know, you passed the test and now you can put on 50 pounds. And see, with both things, right? See, with Democrat, you don't really got to prove nothing. Like, for instance, there was a lady, I was walking on 125th Street, and she's doing some type of, you know, collecting names on the political, you know, and they got to collect the names. You know, rather it's an issue they trying to get on the ballot or a person they try to get on the ballot, they got to come out and collect the names of voters. Now, you don't have to produce no ID when you sign that paper. You just tell them, yeah, I'm a Democrat, and you sign the paper. If you lie, nobody never comes back and asks you about that. But the Navy SEALs is different. They got people that go around exposing people that's been faking as Navy SEALs. Like if you Google it right now, exposing fake Navy SEALs, you will see multiple videos coming out with people being confronted. Did you was a Navy SEAL? Yeah, you said you was in this unit right here. Yeah, nah. I was in that unit. Where you was stationed at? You stationed over there? Nah, that's it. Stolen Valor. That's exactly the name. Thank you, Smoked Out. And that's just if you said you was a Marine, just for saying you was a Marine. But they also have those same Stolen Valor videos in terms of people that's like, yo, yeah, I was stationed in Vietnam and shit. You know, I was stationed in Vietnam, and it'd be dudes would be like, word, you was stationed in Vietnam? Word, what part of Vietnam? Yeah, I was in Beijing, yo. I was in Beijing during the Tet Offensive. You was in Beijing, huh? So, you know, just point that out to say that, you know, individuals like Tobias, you know, they have very little understanding of that aspect of things. You know what I'm saying? You know, and just in general, people is more under the impression now that they can kind of change their spots. You know what I mean? I'm talking about, like they say, leopards can't change their spots. You know, where a person thinks like, yo, you know, you could be like this over here, and then you could just go be like that over there, right? And, you know, when you're talking about being like this or being like that, if you're talking about actual aspects of your character, and you think that that's never going to show up, you know what I'm saying? You know, maybe in your mind. But see, you know, I'm a person that, look, I'm known as antisocial. Like that's something, you know, even people that I think I'm being friendly with, they be like, yeah, yo, the guy is, you know, you say peace to the guy, he just look at you. You know what I'm saying? And so in that way, that's what I'm saying. I might go someplace and I feel like I'm being social, but the people know it's something different about me. I tried to be Masonic the other day. I tried to be Masonic, right? And I was in the room and shit on the app, right? And I didn't say nothing. I just was in the room. right? So then I try to come out like, yeah, this is me right here. You know, what's the deal? What's up, y'all? This is me. And it was like, you know how when a person come out the closet, right? And it's like, the only thing you did is built up the heart to admit that you're you. But we've been known. The whole time we've been known. That's how it was. You can't, you know what I'm saying, certain things, you thinking, people think you could live this life and then just turn that off and turn on a whole other character. Nah, that generally don't happen. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're not gonna be nowhere and you're not studying your lessons and all this shit, and then you're gonna show up and we're gonna be like, yo, yeah, he's mad at peace, yo. Yo, his understanding is off the charts. Like I said, you could go to medical school, get all A's. You probably ain't gonna pass the bar exam though. Me as an individual, I wouldn't want you representing me. You smart guy. But you didn't take law. You didn't apply your intelligence to the law. And 7930 pointed out that, yeah, you have police doing that as well. You know what I'm saying? Where, you can't, you can't, there's some things that, in order to do this, in order to identify as that, see, and this was one of the early videos with what I said, right? Look, I'm gonna ask you a question right now. Tobias, if you in there, you answer too, right? If you agree with the statement that the black man is God by nature, type 1 in the chat box. Okay, Bishop, I'm seeing your question, but what's the question? You said Jacob was the brother of Esau in Genesis 25:23. In thy belly there are two nations, one shall serve the other. But what's the question? I noticed nobody typed 1 in the chat box. See that? Have I been asking too many trick questions or something? I've been there with you. So there's quite a few times that happened, man. Where I came in, right? I seen Prince, right? I seen Prince, and look, he asked me a question. I just look at him like, come on, man, you want to play today? I don't even want to play today. It just walked off, man. Like how whatever it is you, whatever it is you up to, man. I'm not, I'm not biting, man. Bishop says so. If they type one in the comments, are they saying Esau and Jacob are one and the same? You know what I'm saying? If you type one in the comment box, if you agree with the statement, the black man is God by nature. So, Bishop, you said so or not. But what's the question? Oh, you saying your question is Jacob and Esau one and the same? Is the devil and Lucifer one and the same? Yeah, ask Don Bishop. You know, Don Bishop is the resident Bible expert. You know, my personal, my understanding on it is that, see, when you look at the Bible, right, you see in a lot of different stories that's compiled from a lot of different places, a lot of different people, from a lot of different times, that was under different philosophies. You know what I'm saying? In some places you see stories like the story of Cain and Abel is just kind of thrown in there. Like it's just there, and then it kind of, you got it just is there's not a real flow to that story. You know what I'm saying? Like if that's the history of people, you know what I'm saying? Like if you was telling the story of Elijah Muhammad or Allah or whatever, you can see that this is kind of like a disjointed part right here. You know what I'm saying? So when you're looking at the Bible, right, so you got different people, right, that describe evil differently, right? And they name evil differently. You know what I'm saying? So, you got these different names: Lucifer, Asmodeus, Beelzebub, etc., where the same way as like Santa Claus, right? There was different people who had a legend, right, or a reputation or folklore, whatever it is, about certain people that gave stuff, to children, gifts, whatever. They was generous people, right? And the idea of Santa Claus that we have here is a mixture of all those different characters. You know what I'm saying? Like him living in the North Pole, right? That don't come from the story of Saint Nicholas. Like Saint Nicholas was a guy from Turkey. You know what I'm saying? Chris Kringle, I can't remember what Chris Kringle might have been from the German aspect of the legend. You understand what I'm saying? But all of those stories coalesced, right, in the legend of Christmas that was born here in America. And so we hear all those different names, right? Chris Kringle, Santa Claus, Saint Nicholas. Those represent different legends from different places that came together. So, you know, for me, when I see these names like, you know, Lucifer, Beelzebub, like, you know, et cetera, you know, that's what that represents, you know, in just different aspects and characteristics of the character they present to you, who is the devil. You know what I'm saying? Like when you look at those different, like Lucifer means light. You know, the other names, they got other meanings. You know what I'm saying? But perhaps Don Bishop has some he says, this is, now we not on City Sciences, we on what's the name? To call in, you probably gotta, we got the medicine cabinet. I can open up the medicine cabinet and I wish I knew they said the same week I met the guys in Mecca, I came home and a black man introduced himself as Lucifer trying to recruit me. I mean, you know, I know who you're talking about, 793rd, but yeah, that guy, I would say he's crazy. I wouldn't, you know, I wouldn't pay that too much mind. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know what he was trying to recruit you for, but you know, if you already know who you are, you know what I'm saying? But getting back to the question is, you know, the black man God by nature? No. See, first of all, if you God for a reason, right? If you God by nature, then can you define nature for me? Because if something can make you God, isn't that thing God? Like if I got the power to make you all powerful, don't that make me all powerful? Like what is this nature? What is this nature that you speak of that existed before the original man? See, to a certain degree, you're not, you know, you keeping the religious aspect of it, right? That, see, like, the Christian God doesn't have to do nothing. They see somebody can go in the supermarket, somebody can go in the church and shoot people up. And the Christian God doesn't have to do anything. But he's this God by, nature or whatever, by title, by, by divine right, I guess. Who said only with proper knowledge is he God. One only learns what one teaches himself. With proper knowledge, right? One only learns what one teaches himself. I'm with you there, right? Now here's a question. What is the last stage of learning? In order to have the mind of God, got to work with him. But what is the last stage of learning? So you're saying the see, I suppose you're saying the understanding. I learned from the cradle to the grave. Don Bishop said the last stage of learning is teaching. I wish I knew this at the last stage of learning is mastered. Five Phrase from the Providence Plantation said there isn't a last stage of learning. Knowledge is infinite. The last stage of learning is activation. See, now, some of these is, you just didn't give the same words that I gave, right? But you say the last stage of learning is teaching, right? The last stage of learning is being a master, right? You said the last stage of learning is understanding, right? You said to see, right? Okay, where's the fruit? The understanding is the fruit that's born. That's something that's born that everybody can see. You see what I'm saying? Right now, you got sperm and the woman got eggs in her, right? But see, after 9 months, something is produced. So see, if you learn something, something should be produced from what it is that you learn. Even if it's just your righteous existence. Because you learned that something you was doing before was wrong, right? And you put it into activation, right? Now, what do we do? What do we say when we tell somebody something 100 times, right? And then they do something else? We say, son, you don't learn. What do we say when a person keeps getting the same stupid outcome for the same stupid actions? You don't learn. It's not that they don't know. It's not that they don't have it memorized. If you ask them, they can tell you it. But then when they go outside, they go do the same dumb shit. And what do we say? Yes, you don't learn. Some motherfuckers sitting in jail right now on a 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th bed. They know. There's people on drugs. If you just talking about observation, memorization, repetition, they know what happens every time they take drugs, but they haven't learned. To see all of that right there, they gotta have the knowledge of self, right? But that's gotta be put into activation. And something's gotta be produced from that. And then we'll know you got it. See, when you say the black man is God by nature, right? This is what you're doing. You saying who's the original man? The original man is the Asiatic black man. Full stop. Full stop. Because if you didn't do nothing, then how you to make it? If you're not to make it, then how you to own it? Are you just the cream by nature? You just the cream by osmosis? Or do we know the cream because it rises to the top? How do we tell the difference between the milk and the cream, the curds and the whey, right? If not by what they do. You know, when we create this condition, we know that this right here rises to the top. It has certain characteristics, a certain nutritional value. It has a certain way that it tastes. Milk is just an inanimate object. If we talking about the true and living God, right? How you gonna be living, right? You know, well, by true and living God, right? Here's the two things, right? You saying one thing is that we're actually alive, right? Who's 97 MA? Get back to what I was saying. You know, the rest of those things, right? You know, when you deal with true and living, there's the point of you just being alive, right? As opposed to, you know, you just on the paper or you in the pictures, right? You know, you somebody in the past that we hear about. No, you right here, right now, right? But see, being right here, right now, right? You have to take you have to take part in the activities of life. See, it's like my pops, right? When he used to always come and ask me, what you doing, right? And I used to say nothing. And he used to always say, well, you can't be doing nothing. That you gotta be breathing, you gotta be something. Like he never like yeah, what you think about this? Like, yeah, I don't really no, I didn't ask you that. I asked you what you think about it. I didn't ask you what you know about it. So see what I'm saying is just you existing, right? Activities of life have to be going on inside you. So now, what are those activities of life? We just talk about the activities of life that's going on inside you. But now for you Wu-Tang era people, remember what Papa Wu told you about if you turn yourself inside out. So when you say you the true and living God, right? What is the activities of your life, right? Where's the activities of your life to go along with the truth that you learn? For you to say that you the true and living God. Like, what does man mean? Like if you draw a picture of a man, is that a man? See, being a man, how do you do that without taking part in the activities of life? Oh, born God? Yeah. He said, all is vibration, nothing is standing still. But, that's where a lot of people got twisted. That's where, a lot of people, they mislead themselves without understanding. Like, you know how many people came around and said they this person, they that person, you Jesus Christ, you Moses, whoever the fuck, right? See, at the end of the day, right, if you want to be God, you're going to have to produce some people that bear witness to you. Whether that's mentally or physically. I don't know how else. Like I said, you got a lot of people. Tobias, Rock 3020. That's somewhere off in their room doing whatever they do, right? Thinking that they God. But have you produced any people, any events, any places, right, to show and prove that you God? Like to use a shining example, what I'm saying is Allah has all of that. From this building to the show and prove that's coming to all of us that exist here as 5%, right? Yeah, he's the God. He produced all of this right here that bears witness. See, the maker and the owner. For some people, they think they God. Now, you just a bump on the log. So I guess Tobias decided to just play the background this time. He didn't really, I just wanted to see what was some of the things that he thought that maybe I misunderstand. I don't know him at all. So it is very quite possible that I misunderstand some things about him, but I have a fairly good grasp of the 5%. And by virtue of that, I perhaps you'll come in the comments later and maybe Tobias, maybe that'll make it easier if you were to write out some of the things that maybe I don't understand. Maybe you could write it out, and then sometimes when sometimes when you get a chance to sit down and really think about it, it comes out a little better. So let's see what happens. In the meantime, between the time, if nobody got no other questions, we did our thing. Had a little video, spilled a little time, but yeah, I guess we could go ahead and retire. We could go ahead and retire for the night. You know what I'm saying? Y'all go ahead and check out ML Ray tomorrow. You know what I mean? Be careful though, because COINTELPRO is after ML Ray. They do that. They next thing you know, you'll be under investigation. You'll be under investigation because they feel like you're a follower of ML Ray. What's my man's name? Rock 3020. He was upset. He was upset that he was upset that Sunez has now been honored with the new name of ML Ray. So I figured Rock 3020 and I just for the purposes of equality. Your new name, Rock 3020, is J. Edgar. Your new name is J. Edgar. See, if you stop being scared of Sunez, y'all can make a rap record. MLK featuring J. Edgar. It's got that ring to it. At any rate, like I said, check out ML Ray. Check out ML Ray 7 o'clock tomorrow on Sunez 7. Of course, I don't go on Thursdays out of there's no need to, being that ML Ray is already doing his thing. So I guess we'll be back on Friday. We're gonna shift over. We're gonna shift over to the City Sciences I'm not sure. He's a cross dresser. That Rock 3020, he's definitely a cross dresser. Some of those, see, we gotta go in the medicine cabinet. Some things we can't say on YouTube. See, in the medicine cabinet, they almost anything goes over there. Almost anything goes over there. But in the meantime, between time, you know, we're gonna sign up. You know, I think this might it's this I haven't used this particular way of going live too much. This is straight on the app. You know, see the thing with this is when you first start, you can't go straight from the app like that. Yeah, it's a little different experience, huh? You know. Personally, you know, I like my toys. I gotta get my toys back in effect. Although I got some other toys that might work with this. I don't have them yet. That's stuff. I got some stuff I still. I need to build up this whole station over here and really get this. Really get this like I need it to be. I keep saying that, but right now, almost everything is on hold, man, till the show improves. Like, it's shit I got to do for people in my family. That's like, listen, man, right now, it's just too much on my plate. Gotta wait. The medicine cabinet, yeah. Well, the medicine cabinet ain't catch on too much yet. Like last night, I was in the medicine cabinet, but it was just me and Universal was in there. But see, the good thing with that is, see, we can kick it, see, because it's just me and Universal, right? You know, we can go in. We ain't got to be all politically correct. See, like right now, you got 14 likes and 24 people in the room. That's 10 snitches. You gotta know how this thing works. Got the social media figured out. Oh man, YouTube, you say YouTube gets suspect after a certain amount of magnetic. YouTube has cut me straight off. Hey, remember one time I said something about white people and they cut the live right off? Who was who was who was on the live that night? And we was talking, whatever we was talking in general. And then I said something about white people, cut me right off, son. Not even like a warning, wasn't even no buffering. I mean, Wise Prince. Me and Wise Prince was on there before. But not last night. Last night was just me and Universal. Well, he might have came in real quick for a second and left or something, but yeah, me and you was on there for a good minute. You know, like I said, we didn't have to worry about being politically correct, so we touched on a couple jump offs there. You know what I'm saying? When I was, you know, listen, I told him what I really think of Rock 3020. Omar Hashem, I'm glad you recognize that. The thing is, it's only 5%. Like that's one of the things that fuck people up. Is that, you know, they keep trying to push the number up. You know, you want to go to 5% to 95% or something. And not saying that that can't happen, but right now we got 5. Let's not sacrifice principles to grow that number. You see what I'm saying? Because you can grow that number to 100%, right? Of people that got the knowledge at least, right? It's still only going to be a certain segment of them that really the activities of their life, right, is based on the truth. Not saying that the 95 people is going to be lying. I'm talking about the truth that the black man's got. Yeah, that's what I be saying. The 85s, they all want to be, 5%, and, everyone deserves the knowledge and all this stuff. Listen, man. Okay, computer. Now, is this on the live stream that Wise had? I was watching, what was the video he had on today? Oh, about the brotherhood and the sisterhood. And then the live stream came up. I didn't check it out. Is that where this interaction is? The 5% within the 5% quote was always weird to me. 5% are those who do not believe. Well, look, there's certain gladiators. That's, when you say, the 5% within the 5%, look, you got people that's going to come, they come to the ciphers, they there, they builders, or whatever, but, depending on the time, put like this. I can simplify it. Many shall come, but few shall be chosen. So you're gonna, have many people that say they 5%, right? And they'll fit some of the characteristics of it, meaning, they don't believe in Christianity or, Buddhism or any of this religious stuff, right? They're not bloodsuckers of the poor. They're not out here necessarily trying to take advantage of people and stuff like that, right? But they not the person like, they not Allah. They not the person that you could send out there to teach the babies. You know what I'm saying? And, 60 years later, they'll still be at it. You know what I'm saying? They not so, I understand what you're saying. What you're saying is whoever's those people that you saying that it's the 5% within the 5%. So you're saying only that 5% within the 5% is really 5%. I understand your point too. But you gotta realize that the saying is saying that all these people around you that you see right now that's saying they 5%, right, is not 5%. And you gotta watch them. You understand what I'm saying? Meaning, like, say like back in the days, you know what I'm saying, we got the knowledge, all of us got the knowledge, you know what I'm saying, we building and we know our degrees and all of that, you know what I'm saying, but those brothers over there, when the cipher's over, they go and do some negative shit. Like that path that they on, right, is not gonna make the most of Allah's teachings. You know what I'm saying? So, definitely, I see your point, like I said, but, as a practical matter, you got to understand that, and then even like when you say being at 5%, right, is, people jump off the ship at every stage before it gets to the port. You know what I mean? Meaning some people, they get the knowledge and then they realize that, studying the lessons is a little bit more involved than I thought it was going to be, and they fall victim. You know what I'm saying? You got some people that, they teach a couple people and then they fall victim. You got people that had the knowledge 20, 30 years, and then they, go be a Buddhist or something. You know what I'm saying? So, it's also one of them, somebody was saying earlier about, how the devil continues daily. It's also one of them things that tells you, look, that's why we still ask each other today's degree. That's why we're still on point with our lessons, man. Because, choosing yourself as a 5%, right? Self-realization put right there. How many choose themselves, right? Choosing yourself as a 5% is not really a one-time thing. That's a minute-to-minute thing. A step-by-step thing. That's why you got motherfuckers who started off righteous and then they did some fucked up shit. Or people who, like we was talking about Dr. York, you know what I'm saying? People who, you got some extremely positive things. You got some things that no matter what you did, what else it was, that is still the best part of that a person could take and leave alone. You understand what I mean? In terms of him establishing the land and the community, and having that established for decades, through all the different changes. But I'm saying, for the whole time I had the knowledge, he was doing his thing on that tip, but on a minute-to-minute basis, I don't know how he started out. You know what I'm saying? Maybe maybe something happened over the time. You know what I'm saying? People become corrupt. How they say power corrupts, absolute power corrupts absolutely. What's more absolute power, right, than knowing that you got? You see what I mean? Every time you go out there, right, and, it's a situation where, like, say if Tobias had a lot of money, right? And I decided, like, yo, you know what? I'm going to ease up off of Tobias, you know what I'm saying, and start being peace with him. So, because he hit me off with that bread. I seen it happen. So, that is, just a little more insight, as to what that saying means right there. Yeah, that is, some Don Bishop, that's is if you was gonna do, if you was gonna come and do like a whole live, That's something that I would like to hear, right? All the different things in the Bible, right? That the translation throws you off. Like the translation is not exact, and or the translation is not known, right? And so it leads to misunderstanding. You know what I mean? Or, like for instance, Adam, right, in Hebrew means man. So just saying that, uh, just the whole way that's looked at as a single individual, right, may not even be the original meaning of the story because Adam just means man. Right, brothers who are no longer sharp on their degrees, but say they still advocate the culture. All of this, Plus, let's keep it 100. You know, a lot of us that look, we was standing on the street, in the '80s, right? We was a large 5%. You know what I'm saying? We was out there with our flags on, our crowns on. We was building on lessons, dealing with supreme mathematics. A lot of those brothers I was standing with then, they Muslims and Muslim sons now. Right. Now see Omar Hashem right there, what you just shared, a little bit of your history right there. That's exactly that's exactly what my point is. That being God and being this is minute to minute, second to second. You understand what I'm saying? All those pitfalls out there, you know what I'm saying? When you got to show and prove, right, that Allah is God, right? And take the devil off the planet without falling victim to the devil's civilization. See, all these things that come at the end was things that you gotta do. It don't say the devils is gonna fall into the hells in the very near future. Yeah, see you going all into it. Exactly. See how, as a 5%, you use the knowledge and wisdom and understanding that you had to justify the bullshit you was doing. See, all of that is evidence of what I'm saying, right? That even though you had the knowledge, you might have had a great history, been with people, right? It's second to second to second, right? That we got to show and prove who we are. What you say here? You say King Allah and K Sang. You talking about King Allah from Red Hook? K Sang, you talking about what's that over there? Tompkins, I think. From Tompkins. King of Love from Cyprus. Nah, I can't even think of who that is. K-Sun, nah, I never met him. I might have seen him around before, but I didn't know him. If you was talking about the other King of Love, I met him before. I ain't know him. Nah, he's from Red Hook. Yeah, that King, I met him before. But I wouldn't say see exactly what I'm saying. When people say, yo, they know this person, they know that person, you met him before. You know what I'm saying? All right, man, Don Bishop, the hardest working man in hip hop. It's a 790. Hey, man, that's all I can tell you, man. Don Bishop, they want you to work even harder. That's yeah, a lot of them, they was people, you know something? A lot of those dudes, uh, you know, I used to see them around and shit. Like a lot of them, you know what I'm saying? I didn't know them, but they was dudes that I used to see around. 50 Cent, uh, to name them, man. They was people, a lot of them, they dudes that they like, say like within 10 years older than me. You know what I'm saying? So, we was all young together. But see, like how I was saying, when you going back to like 85, 86, right? I'm too young to be going to the clubs where they going to. You know what I mean? Like I said, you got places where the cutoff is 25 to get in. You can't wear sneakers, all different shit that's like, all right, this is, you know what I mean? So there was a whole other circuit that if you was younger, you was going to. You see what I mean? Unless you was rolling in certain circles where, you go wherever. But, so, for a lot of them people, like, yeah, I'd seen them around. A few of them, I knew them like that. But, plus, you know what it is too? See, like back in the days, right? Like, see when you were saying with K-Sun? See, back in the days when you used to come to the rally, guys, it's like thousands of people there or something. You know what I'm saying? And there's people that I met, you know what I'm saying? It's people that I met, and you know what I'm saying, depending on how the history went, some of them, you never seen them again. Yeah, that's how they do. That's how they do. Guys used to come around, not just be laughing. You know, brothers would come around, and you know, those days we used to drink 40s. You know what I'm saying? Old English 800 was you know, pretty much the drink of choice, you know, and you know, this brother named Foundation, he had me laughing that if it was one thing that me and the brothers I used to be with, we was known for having well-dressed 40s. Like, we had a way that we used to fold a bag where if you didn't know, right, if you didn't know us, you didn't know that it was a 40. Like, we you know, we was savage. That's the savage. But at the time, we used to call it civilizing. We used to civilize it. Like, when we used to get it out the store, you'd be like, yo, we want to civilize that. And we used to fold it in a way that, look, even the police didn't know. And a couple of times, you know, like say the police is fucking with us for whatever reason, and then they just happen to see the 40, right? And they look at it in the bag, and even they respected it, like, yo, we don't know how you did that, but just the way that looked, here, take that back. We ain't even tripping over that now. You know, but bringing all that up to say that, you know, it was brothers that would come around, and you know how when you go to the store and there's the ice box that's outside? It's brothers that used to come and line up the whole ice box. The whole ice box. It'd be 40 ounces. You know what I'm saying? And you know, they give us some loot. Look, go get some, you know, go get some weed. You know what I'm saying? And look, they used to wait, you know what I'm saying? You know, everybody, like you said, laughing, talking, boy, we just going through whatever, da. You know, and they wait until everybody is toast. And then they start asking, hey, look, and not no 35th degree, ain't no 35th degree in the 140. We going for the Bill degree, the wisdom Bill degree, the coaching degree. You know what I'm saying? And so yeah, that was actually that was some brothers' plans. That's what they did. They came around. You know, people. You know, that was, you know, that but it's not like I wasn't already doing that. You know what I mean? So it's not like they introduced me to something, but just saying that's not, you know, that probably wasn't the best way to do it. But see, we was put under all different kinds of pressure. You know what I'm saying? We was put under all these different kinds of pressure, so that's why we respond. You know what I'm saying? When no matter what the situation is, we respond because you put under all those different. That is what's the name? Oh yeah, Glaze. Yeah, he tells a story. See, Mr. Spock, I'm gonna tell you something that is, I don't. It's I'm not really I don't that whole genre of YouTube. But let me tell you something, man. The guys had them cats under pressure, G. Like when a lot of names you hear, man. Listen, man. The guys had them under pressure. Dudes was in check. Hardcore dudes. Like all down on the deuce and all of that. Foster Projects, that's where Allah got returned. Yeah, I was saying, even in the building, G, dudes was under like when and look, a lot of dudes, right? They had the knowledge, man. A lot of dudes that, you know what I'm saying, they had the knowledge, right? You know, they might have been on the 1 to 10, 1 to 36. You know what I'm saying? You know, but I'm telling you, your physical use of rest care. Well, if you had to show and prove, uh, if you had to show and prove, uh, Father Shaborn does a tour. You know what I'm saying? It started from Wise Jamel, right? And Wise Jamel used to do a tour of Harlem, right? And all the historic places, you know what I'm saying, where the history was lived out. You know what I'm saying? From Mount Morris Park, and they go to the Foster Project. So if you're interested in that and you're going to be at the show and prove, make sure you get with Father Shaborn on that. So if I build, yeah, the tours every year. the tour is every year. You know what I'm saying? But I'm just saying specifically, if you want to see those places and, hear some of the stories or whatever, but, uh, like I said, a lot of these things, you hear these stories and everything, but if you don't know the people and shit, right, then it's kind of not real and shit. You understand what I'm saying? Like that puts a different, just twist on things, right? When you know the actual people or you've been to the actual place. Like, you know how you see a movie, right? And, well, maybe this don't happen everywhere, you know what I'm saying? But when you from New York, right, you see movies and, music videos, pictures, et cetera, of people and places that you know what I'm saying, events that you was there for. He said hotel accommodations for the show improve what demographic or area should I be looking at? I mean, I suppose that depends on what kind of bread you got. You probably hit up Wise. Wise is the West Coast Wise is the Airbnb master.
I love you, baby.
But I already said like an hour ago that I'm letting y'all go. So, in 99, I don't really, by 99, them areas, a lot of them, that's when a lot of places was being overran by the Bloods, was like the first Bloods is starting to hit back on the street, you know what I'm saying, and spread the shit in their neighborhoods. Oh yeah, Knowledge Born be staying at the hotels downtown too, yeah. You said you have an actual question. What's the actual question? Let's try to get that. Let's try to get that out the way. How do you guys see anxiety? Is it a trick of the devil? No. These is I mean, there's things that can be done to you, when you were, well, they were made blind, deaf, and dumb by the devil when they were babies, right? To, cause you to have anxiety. You know what I'm saying? But reactions to things is for a reason. You know what I'm saying? Now that anxiety, right? That emotion, you can't let it supersede your intelligence. So, sometimes you might be anxious about something, but it's a reason. That anxiety is telling you that you need to be prepared for what's getting ready to happen, right? But you don't let it supersede your intelligence to say, okay, you're gonna analyze it and then say, well, is what I'm having anxiety about, is it actually a real danger? Is it a real threat? You know what I'm saying? But all of these things is inside of you. You know what I mean? And then of course, just knowing that something is inside of you, right? If they know and you don't know, right? And you don't know how to deal with it, now it can be used to control and manipulate you. You know what I'm saying? So from that aspect, it could be a trick. But all these different things is for a reason. You see what I'm saying? You know, uh, you know, fear is 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 a kind of way that you read. It's a way that you read. It's a way that you read the natural uh, tendency of your body to prepare for battle, for fight or flight. You understand what I'm saying? Your body has to prepare, your blood rush to different parts of your body and everything. You know what I'm saying? Your breathing. So for some people, right, they read that as excitement. Like when they feel that feeling, they like, yeah, I'm getting ready to fight. Yeah. Woo! You understand what I'm saying? And for other people, they read it as fear. That's the way it registers. Hmm.
Yeah, it started messing up again, man. Oh, I got these. Oh, no.
In South Florida, they assume 5%ers were Bloods. I mean, yeah, I don't know how they would necessarily get that. What question about firstborn prince?
Sleeping on me? Huh? Well, I love you.
Oh yeah, I seen who was that? I recall the brother. He asked you, he's like, "Yeah, Mr. Spot." Yeah, he told me, but I just can't recall who it was. Uh, I mean, that wasn't their MO. You know what I'm saying? But I mean, they was they was tough guys. You know what I'm saying? Black Messiah, Bishmi, uh, Uhura, uh, uh, the ABG, Alger, they was tough guys. You know what I'm saying? They was, you know, and you know, in every area it's like that. You know what I mean? But in terms of the Harlem Valley, uh, you know, like this, you know, 7th Avenue, 8th Avenue, all of that, uh, you know, 135th Street to 116th Street, you know, Lenox Avenue, they was, you know, I never heard of no people that was tougher than them over there. You know, at least in their age group, you know what I'm saying? Like when they around, it's still dudes like Bumpy Johnson, you know, I'm not saying he was the top of the pyramid, you know, but you know, in terms of having people under pressure, you know, it was learned pretty quickly that the 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 5% is serious. You know what I'm saying? And then they had, you know, they was you know, they was learning martial arts and all that type of stuff, learning Islam before 1964. So that's why a lot of them had already Muslim names. Um, I don't, I don't, well, I mean, there's other, you know, like I said, if we was going to do one of those channels or one of those episodes, then yeah, there's war stories. You know what I'm saying? Uh, I mean, just you know, those particular people, right? I just don't know that to be they MO. You know what I mean? In terms of having power, you know what I'm saying? Uh, you know, yeah, they was you know, all of them, you know what I'm saying? You know, those the brothers that got that kind of fame, you know what I'm saying? You know, from the 60s, the very first brothers, mostly all of them, they was good with this, and they was good with this. All of them. 52, that was like, that was almost came with the lessons. Like when I was getting knowledge, you had to spar. Like, different ciphers depending, you know what I'm saying, if they had somebody who, you know what I'm saying, was teaching kung fu in that cipher, they that's the sparring they would do. If you had boxes in the cipher, that's the sparring they would do. If you know it was just street dudes, you know what I'm saying, and it was just slap boxing, whatever it was, you had to spar when I got the knowledge. You know what I mean? Some places, dudes is in full geese. Niggas in full kung fu, regalia. Some places they got the boxing gloves. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, some places you body blowing. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, that was a part of and see, Mr. Spot, that kind of goes into what you were saying. You know what I mean? That, yeah, people that just saw that was like, yo, y'all niggas is crazy, B. Like, I'm not, we not really, whatever y'all is on, we'll let y'all, Right, yeah, Zab hit Floyd. He definitely hit Floyd with the 5-2. If Zab had his head more about him and worked on his stamina, probably a little more and shit, or maybe even paced himself a little better during that fight, he would have won that fight. But once the fatigue set in, he let himself get frustrated, and then Floyd just went to work on him. We got all these people in here. I can hardly believe that not one of them is Tobias. See, we consistently, you notice that the 10 snitches have been staying consistent? Still 10 of them. All right, knowledge. Shout out for that. Yeah, frustration get a lot of people that fight Floyd, because I think a lot of people come in thinking that Floyd is soft. You know what I'm saying? Because he got like a defensive style, you know what I mean? But at the end of the day, and I'm not even a Floyd fan like that, you know what I mean? In terms of, all time and none of that. He was the best of his era, right? But a lot of people just came in thinking that Floyd was soft, you know what I mean? Because he had a defensive style, he wasn't knocking people out. And that's what I think caused a lot of people to gas out, is that they came in trying to kill him, right? And at the end of the day, he weathered those storms from dudes that was knockout fighters. Some of them, Shane Mosley, he was older. He wasn't necessarily in that phase of his career, but, even the dude from the UFC, that's what he thought. he thought he was going to be tougher than Floyd. There's no way you thought you was going to outbox him. You thought you was going to be tougher than him. Don Bishop. Shout out for that contribution. Oh yeah, he frustrated Ricky Hatton. Oh man, that was listen. And he the way he beat Ricky Hatton was almost like this is not the same caliber of boxer here. See, Hatton was a fighter that I thought was overrated from the jump. Well, I mean, Roy and Floyd is in different weight classes. I will agree with you this though. Floyd Mayweather was the best boxer in the post Roy Jones era. Like for that time that him and Roy Jones' career overlapped, Roy was the pound for pound best. And I also think that Roy Jones got to get credit for like the way you got all the boxers now with they like promotions and all of that. Roy Jones established that in a couple of ways. One was he didn't sign with no promoter because he didn't trust him. So, and he had the talent that they still had to give him the matches. You know what I'm saying? The other thing he did was he destroyed Don King's stable. From I'm pretty sure what was my man's name? The dark skinned dude. That was my dude too. Ray Jones beat him at super middleweight. He had the super middleweight belt at the time. James Toney. Yeah, somebody self-realization right there. James Toney. James Toney was a Don King fighter. Ruiz was a Don King fighter. There was a couple of them, and I recall it was a night when he beat this guy, and that guy was the last champion. He was the last champion that Don King had. Yeah, Bernard Hopkins added on to that too. But that kind of paved the way. I'm saying that left it open for De La Hoya and Floyd to come along. You know what I'm saying? Because, when Don King was sitting there, you had to go through him because he had all the champions. In my opinion, even Bob Arum and Goosen and all of them people benefited from Roy Jones destroying Don King's stable. Bob Arum and them been around. But they wasn't getting that kind of money. And he also, I think another thing you gotta give him credit for is Roy. Another thing Roy did for Floyd is Roy put Roy brought money into defensive boxing. No defensive fighter wasn't getting that kind of money. Like even dudes that, they had defense, they was known for their, speed and everything, avoiding punches, footwork. Muhammad Ali still got a lot of knockouts. You know what I'm saying? Dudes were still getting cut up. You know what I'm saying? Sugar Ray Leonard was still knocking dudes out. They fights was still, exciting. You know what I'm saying? Roy Jones showed that being a defensive fighter could be that exciting. I'm saying like Sweet Pea, right, who was pretty much the defensive guy of the 80s, he never made no money. I don't think maybe until the end when he had that fight with was it Chavez? That last fight he had? I think that might have been, my point is, I think that's the only fight that he ever was the headliner. And he never was at the top of the card. You know what I'm saying? Roy, he kind of set after Roy, then Bernard, Winky, Floyd, you know what I'm saying? All of the next kind of champions and the people who came up, even Lennox Lewis. You say you picked Roy over Floyd because Floyd's style was not technical boxing. Roy threw 6 and 7 punch combos. Floyd never did that. I don't know if you might have to put that the other way. Roy wasn't a technical boxer. Floyd, yeah, I think I would agree with La Illuminati there. Floyd, he, in terms of the combinations and all of that, Floyd was the safer fighter. He made the he made it more exciting. But I agree with your point. Well, that's what I've been saying the whole time. Roy over Floyd. To me, if you say the post Mike Tyson era, Roy was the best. Yeah. Tarver and the other dude caught Roy with the same overhand right. But the thing with that though is, I question what happened when Roy went up to heavyweight. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. The West Indian guy, they both caught him with the same overhand right. But when he went up to heavyweight, he was too muscular. In my opinion, my unexpert opinion, just looking at him, right, he was too muscular, too quick. And don't get me wrong, I know that, a lot of boxers, they boxing weight sometimes is 40 or 50 pounds below they walking around weight. But it was like, if you notice in that first fight after the Ruiz fight, it was like his muscles just looked deflated or something. Like it was something, like just when you just looked at him, it was like, you're not like overweight, out of shape, but was looked like somebody stuck a pin in him. So I think, and then it wasn't like, he was exactly a spring chicken then. You know what I'm saying? I just think he put his body through too much, too fast. You know what I'm saying? Like, he just was like, yo, I'm gonna fight this dude in a couple of months, jumped up to that weight. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, fuck it, I'm going back to fight for my belt and jump back down. It's like, nah, son, you supposed to, take like 6 months or something to do that. So, my question is about it, like I said, I didn't make a statement, but, my question is, did he do that with steroids? Floyd's record speak for itself. Yeah, Pac-Man, it appears that Pac-Man might have been on it. Floyd's record, one thing I question about Floyd's record is those early days, there was a point at which Floyd, Shane Mosley, and De La Hoya was all between like 128 and 135 pounds. I wanted to, that's when I was really interested in seeing all three of them fight. Once they got up to the 150 and all that, I didn't want to see that really. Yeah, you still gotta win, but I mean, there's a difference. There's a difference. Let's say you take it out of this context, right? There's a difference between the Joe Louis that beat Max Schmeling and the Joe Louis that got beat by what's the white guy name? Rocky Marciano. Like, yeah, that's a win, and it's a win against the great Joe Louis. But it's not the same. You know what I'm saying? Uh, Ken Norton beating Muhammad Ali is not the same as Trevor Burbick beating Muhammad Ali. He says a few fighters that went past 50 fights without a loss and then end their career undefeated or with the belt. He said who dominated like Floyd? Uh, I mean, I don't know if I would consider Floyd like. Uh, yeah, I don't know if I would consider Floyd a dominant fighter. Like Roy dominated. Uh, hmm. I mean, I would depending on what you're talking about. I'm not sure what you're talking about, but I'm just saying in the ring, uh, Bernard Hopkins probably was a little more dominant than Floyd. Sugar Ray Robinson is a whole other category by itself, and I think it's more than 70. I think Sugar Ray Robinson had like 150 fights or something like that before he took a loss. What you said on the dubs? You said when you hear fighters talk about Floyd, he's a beast in there. This nigga Abdul Akbar is stupid. I'm 66 and 0 in Queens, New York. World class, Craig. The world. Uh, I mean, I don't see. Well, let me say this. I think this is might be where let me see one thing about my opinion of Floyd, right, is that with all of the defensive moves and all that, Floyd's strong point was stamina. Like that's what I really saw is Floyd just outlast guys. He around the sixth or seventh round, fighters start slowing down. You know what I'm saying? Floyd picks up. Like if you watch Floyd in the 12th round, he's going harder than in the first round. And if you watch the fights and you was listening to the commentary, uh, a lot of times if you're looking at the first 4 or 5 rounds, right? the other fighter is sometimes ahead. You know what I'm saying? Or it's a very close fight until it gets to the sixth or seventh round, and then you start seeing Floyd come out from behind the guard. So that's kind of when you say dominant, that's what I'm saying. I don't even think he figures them out. He just outlasts people. And if you listen to him, right, what he says is nobody outworks me in the gym. If you ever heard him talk about why he was so confident that he was gonna win those fights, he always said nobody outworks me in the gym. Yeah, Phillies Trinidad, yeah, when he moved up to that, I think he moved up to, 160 where he fought Hopkins. Yeah, that's boxing, La Illuminati. I'm just saying that, I don't know if a fighter with that kind of tactic is, I don't know if a person with that type of tactic that I would consider them dominant though. Definitely discipline. Definitely discipline for Floyd. But and then again, I'm gonna tell you too. What we getting into now too is like I said in the beginning. I'm not a Floyd fan. I can respect what he did. You know what I'm saying? I like boxing and all of that. So I can say yeah, this is his strong points. But some of these things right now that we disagreeing on is basically the points at which I'm saying now I wasn't a Floyd fan. I can appreciate what he was the best at. You know what I'm saying? But I don't know about dominant. Oh yeah, Macho. I mean, well, with Macho, it was the drugs, man. With Macho, it was the drugs. Macho, Tyson was the same thing. Uh, uh, Tyson was the same thing uh, in that, you know, I mean, because I live in New York, so both of them is New Yorkers, right? You know, when I started seeing them on the street, like I'm saying, like, son, you want to do some on 8th Avenue, Macho Camacho come walking around the corner. Just, hey, look, and he's out there. It ain't no, security or nothing, or he's walking, the train and he's just coming out to get some. Nah, I said, he's hanging on the Ave, G. He just turned a corner. Listen, it's on. Same thing with Mike Tyson. When I started seeing Mike Tyson, just hanging on 125th Street, like, yo, champ, don't you got to fight next week? And he just pulled up, son, in front of the. Like, if you come to 125th Street now, the last time I seen Mike, yeah, that's the last time I seen him in person, was where the FedEx is. If you on 125th Street, the 7th Avenue, right around the corner, where the FedEx is, he was right there with a drop top. He was right there with a drop top. He had the young lady in the passenger seat. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, I'm thinking, like, yo, Chan, look, he cooling. Everybody, yo, what up, Chan? Yo, peace with, you know what I'm saying? Like, yo, Chan, don't you got a fight next week? Yeah. What is you doing here? I'm not talking about 2 o'clock in the afternoon, B. You know, we out there all night. You know what I'm saying? Uh, he's hanging up on 132nd Street, getting in fights with Mitch Green, like, dude. So it was like, those are signs that, when you're dealing with, you said you wasn't a Floyd fan until he whipped your cousin Zab. I mean, like I said, he beat Zab because of stamina and discipline that somebody else mentioned. Triple G, I thought was overrated. But I just, I'm not the same kind of Floyd fan. Put it like this. I think in a different era, right? Like when we talk about the other fighters, right? You know what I'm saying? If we say like, yo, if he was around with Sugar Ray and Hearns and Durant and all them dudes, right? I think Zab would have did better in that time than Floyd. And not for nothing, La Illuminati, because I know this family. I know this family. So I'm going to say this respectfully, but Floyd clearly had the better trainers. Listen, tell Unc I said my bad, but Floyd clearly had the better trainers, man. And I think all of that had to do with the lack of discipline from Zab. I know La Illuminati. Listen, like I said, I know his family, G, but you gotta admit that. You gotta admit that Floyd had a big advantage right there. It's like, I lost racks on that. Have you spoken to Zab since you lost those racks? That's some shit. He never talked this nigga again, man. Hey, yo, man. Why you talk to Zab? Man, fuck Zab. Nigga paid my money back. Yeah, that's some family story shit right there, right? Like the grandkids, like, yo, why don't you go talk? Like, yeah, nigga tight because he lost some money. Oh, man. That Illuminati said last place I seen him was Mayweather's gym. That's crazy. That's crazy. But you know, that's what be funny though. You know what I'm saying? About boxing. I guess not funny, but ironic, you know what I'm saying, is that these people that have these these absolute wars end up being the best of friends sometimes. That was always funny about boxing. Like, you ever see Mike Tyson knock somebody out, and then after the fight, the person be like, yo, thanks for fighting me, man. Like, I know what it's about. It's about even getting knocked out by Mike Tyson, right? Getting knocked out by Mike Tyson, you might make more money in that fight than you did in your whole rest of your career. So the person is just saying, this is what we do for a living. You know what I mean? This opportunity to make this money. And even if I put in a good enough show against you, you know what I'm saying? Even if I lose, it still lines me up for some other, fights and everything. But it's still funny to me when that happens. Nah, actually, I wanted to take the boxing class. We was trying to get to take the boxing class to see Tank, to see that fight. The kids in the boxing class, I'm saying. But yeah, just everything, like I said, right now, the show and prove is just, until I get that out the way, it's everything else is too complicated. He said, I'm not gonna thank Mike for knocking me out. I'm from Southside. We don't do that. Listen, man. It's a little friendly competition there. A little friendly competition between old friends. Is this the fight? They said is Tank is they said Tank is going up in weight class? See, them power fighters got to be careful with that. Who's going up? Somebody's going up, man. Well, I was like, yeah, I don't know, man. It might not be a good move. I took my mind is stupid. Somebody, if it was friendly, he could have took me the distance. Nah, man, you can't leave it up. Can't leave it up to the scorecard, man. It's not how you do. Yeah, Canelo shouldn't did that neither. Yeah, good example. Good example of a power fighter that said it don't work out when you don't bring your power with you. Yeah, Yuri boy, I wasn't a fan of him either. With Trinidad, see, Trinidad, it worked for a while because he came up from like 130 or something like that because he was a volume. He knocked people out by volume punching. You know what I mean? He wasn't a one punch guy. But once he got to Bernard, it's like, yeah, you're not gonna be catching me with no volume of punches. You know what I'm saying? Boots Ennis. I just heard of him. I haven't seen him yet. You know what happened? Pretty much, besides these fights, there's really nothing that I watch on TV. So, I stopped having TV and shit. You know what I'm saying? I stopped having TV. So, a lot of these fights, I be missing them. You know how I be catching them? I be catching them on YouTube on the rerun. That's a tricky one. Uh, I think the size and the strength is going to make a difference in that one. I think that's going to come down to the same thing what we saying. But that's definitely one where they got to get in the ring. You know what I'm saying? We can sit back and say, but that's one of the ones where they got to get in the ring. Yeah, sometimes, like, you know what was like that? Holyfield and Tyson. Because I felt like Holyfield had what it took to beat him. You know what I'm saying? And, definitely in terms of, you already took this time off and you want to come back and all of that. But you still had to get in there and see them rock. You know what I'm saying? And to me, when it became clear to me, it was like, I think the second or the third round. I think it was the second or the third round, and they both came in and they caught each other with like, I think they both, it was like a check hooks from both of them. And when they caught each other, it was like, a hook from Tyson usually, this usually warrants a response. But when they both connected, Tyson was the one that backed up, and Holyfield went forward like he didn't even feel it. And then he got on his toes and did a little dance, and it was like, oh yeah, this is over, man. Tyson, Tyson's done. He might have lacked power to hurt a prime Mike, but on that particular night, and he's another one that I have to ask about the roids. But I think that's a type of fight right there where let's see, but I think that shape is kind of first. You know what I'm saying? Like when we talk about trained fighters, right? Two trained fighters. If one fighter is better than the other fighter, but he's out of shape, it's still a good chance he's gonna lose. Mrs. Fox, I didn't think he was the same at that point. By the time he fought Lewis, you could tell it was for the money. I would back that up to Bone Crusher Smith. Like that was, that was when I think I first recall seeing the peekaboo Mike. You know what I'm saying? Like early Mike was a lot of movement. He was fighting a lot of fat old people. That's just the reality. Mike came in at almost a perfect time where, all the guys had just aged out. You know what I'm saying? Like the 70s, all of those guys had aged out. You know what I'm saying? And even Larry Holmes, he was a guy that had been around since the 70s. Like he was doing his thing, but, Spinks, all of them dudes, you know what I'm saying? Spinks was in the 1976 Olympics. You know what I'm saying? By 1990, these dudes wasn't, and so, Tyson came in with a lot of movement. You know what I'm saying? Moving the head side to side, quick footwork and all of that. And then he got to a point where he just came in like this. This is it. He come in like this, and he might slip one punch and then come back or something, but this was basically it. You know what I'm saying? The foot movement kind of stopped, and, he was just coming in, trying to get the knockout. You know what I'm saying? And so to me, that was the beginning of the end. So what I'm saying is that, even when he fought Buster Douglas, that wasn't the same Mike. You know what I'm saying? Like Mike, to me, was a guy that he was trained into being a machine. You know what I'm saying? Where it was like when whatever punch a person threw at Mike, you know what I'm saying? he just went into whatever was the reaction. Like if you swing that hand, body blows come up to the head. You know, if you do this, and all of that kind of, you know, everything. You know, once after Rooney, to me he was a different dude. His movement and speed was still impeccable to people at the time. Yeah, against guys that was 40. Right, when Cuss died, but even after Cuss, you're right. Look, Shaquem just brought something up. Exactly. When you start winding back the tape, those is really when you start seeing a different Mike. But see, after Cuss died, remember he still had Rooney. He still had Rooney training him for a couple of fights. But when Cuss died, that's when Don was able to get that. But you know, that being said, I'm still telling you, man, if you look at the people that he was fighting, like, you know, Tony Tubbs, how much did Tony Tubbs weigh? Pinklin Thomas, you know, now Illuminati said the heavyweight division still up for grabs now. I mean, in what way do you mean that somebody can come in right now and dominate, or you mean that there's somebody right now that can come up and grab it? Because I don't think the dude from England, what's his name, Joshua. I don't think he could be. Like to see Mike as a trainer. I mean, I don't know if he's that stable yet. You know, maybe. Yeah. In terms of somebody being able to come in and get it, it's pretty weak. Like I don't think you could even say it's like is there even 3 top contenders? Is there, like, besides Anthony Joshua, uh, who else would you say is a top contender for the heavyweight title right now? You say he knows everything about boxing. I mean, you know, people that have been in the ring, they know everything about boxing, but you know, it's still other aspects to it besides just knowing everything about boxing. You know, and I mean that's in any sport with coaching. You know, there's people that know, you know, everything about basketball, but they can't be a good head coach. Come on, La Illuminati, you gotta give him a break, man. White man, look, the white man had like a 40-year hiatus from the belt. You can't let them have it. Look, they having a run right now. They having a run. Klitschko, how long Klitschko had the belt? Between Klitschko and Tyson Fury, when's the last time? When's the last time? Yeah, you're right about that, Abdul Rahman. certain people that know the lessons and all that, and you know they live righteously, but yeah, they not good at teaching. You know, for various reasons. You know, maybe they don't have the vocabulary. You know, some people don't have the patience. You know, another thing I think La Illuminati too is that, like say like when Muhammad Ali, even Mike Tyson, right? When uh, when Mike Tyson was doing his thing, right? He was the top paid athlete in the world, to my knowledge. You know what I'm saying? And you know, as the sure, man, you got to give. Listen, it took them 100 years to get the Great White Hope the belt back. You got to give them a break, La Illuminati. But what you think about this though, La Illuminati, is that, like I said, at that time, you know, Sugar Ray Leonard, Muhammad Ali, Tyson, these dudes is the top paid athletes, right? But now that I can make $40 million, right, bouncing the basketball, why don't we get punched in the face? Like the rise of the other sports, you know, not just with the money, but also, you know, boxing at one time, that was, you know, in the 40s and in the 50s, you know, basketball was around, but people ain't watching it like that. People watching baseball, you know, football is around, but it's more college football is big at that point. You know what I'm saying? But now that, you know, in terms of, you know, there was no athlete more famous than Muhammad Ali when he was around. You know what I'm saying? There was no athlete more famous than Joe Louis. So, you know, even in terms of saying you aspiring to do that because of the money, but you also aspiring to be that because of, you know, this image that's being promoted of this person, you know what I'm saying? Uh, you know, dudes, you know, my point in saying all that is that dudes that would have went into boxing, right? Now you're going into football and basketball, right? See, you look, I don't think even so much the work ethic, but what you said at the end right there, playtime, exactly. See, you can play basketball. You don't really play boxing. You know, and even with that, you know, is as much as the odds is against you to make it to the NBA, right? It's still 12 slots, 14 slots on the team. It's one boxing slot, and there's no bench. There's there's no second string in boxing. But of course, you know, La Illuminati, the elephant in the room, though. The elephant in the room, the two elephants in the room was uh, the two elephants in the room was Muhammad Ali in the Parkinson's and Sugar Ray Leonard with the detached retina. Lennox Lewis. You don't think? I mean, I don't think he was highly skilled. I'm not that much of a fan of him as a boxer, but you don't think? What was the dude that Fury beat? The guy that got the 40 knockouts. You don't think? I thought he was a dominant fighter. He just I didn't like to see his fights. Yeah, Wilder. Yeah, I thought Wilder was dominant. He just I think the main thing with him is that the power was so outstanding for him that he just didn't develop. He didn't develop any of the other things that he needed. That he needed against Tyson Fury. Illuminati said I'm against the major sports. Yeah, he didn't have a lot of skill, man. Right, and see that's what I'm saying. That's why I think Zab. That's why I think Zab. All these things that you name right there. That's why Floyd beat Zab. Zab wasn't an Olympian, was he? See, because that's always a thing that gets you. You know, the kind of team, the people that's going to make sure you're dealing with your right nutrition and all of that. You know what I'm saying? Oh, Zab was on 96 as an alternate? I didn't know that. But I guess that's why I didn't remember seeing. But I could also see why I don't recall Zab. I don't recall Zab as an amateur, so I don't know how he fought. But uh, his style doesn't lend itself to that amateur boxing like that. He said it was faster, meaner, more skill. Yeah, see, that's what I'm saying. Now, the speed means something, but the meaner and more skill, uh, the meaner and more skill don't always help you in the amateurs. You know what I'm saying? Because, they just tap it. Cuss says character breeds skill. Well, I mean, it's hard to argue with Cuss, but in this instance, I don't have an argument for that. I agree with that. Uh, and again, those is uh, those is advantages that kind of non-tangibles that Floyd had the advantage against that. Mayweather, you're right. That's another thing. Mayweather not drinking and smoking. Absolutely. All of those things, especially when you're looking at it from the aspect of his record. You know what I'm saying? Meaning that dudes like, you know, Duran, Roberto Duran, and uh, Sugar Ray Leonard, Mike Tyson, a lot of those dudes, those 1 or 2 losses was after last night they niggas was partying, or really this whole training cycle, dudes ain't really they was partying more than they was training. You know what I'm saying? Uh, that's what's responsible a lot of times for the couple of blemishes that you will see on people's records. But at the end of the day, La Illuminati, like you said, character, all of that counts. All of that counts, whether you went and did something stupid and that's what caused you to lose, you can't really, you know what I'm saying, you, you, you either win or you don't win. I like Wilfred Benitez better than Gomez. You know who else was the truth that that they don't that he was one of the first fighters that I used to like when I was little. Alexis Arguello. You know, unfortunately, he got one of the he was on the receiving end of one of the most vicious fight finishes in the history of boxing against Aaron Pryor. So I think that's what a lot of people, because that's one of them ones that get shown over and over. You know what I'm saying? And I think that might took away from people realizing that Alexis Arguello was like a Felix Trinidad kind of nigga. Like he had won belts in like 4 or 5 weight classes, and just eventually he same thing, ran into the power. Tapia, them kind of cats, Chavez was the best. I wouldn't agree with that. Yeah, that's what I was saying. Johnny Tapia. I was wondering why you brought him up. But yeah, though, La Illuminati, we got a couple. Right now, we got a new batch. This right now, we got mostly a lot of the more skilled fighters they like El Soldier, he in college now. You know what I'm saying? So, he probably be back through in the summertime. Jamie, he went down south, you know what I'm saying? But he was up here not so long ago. Whenever he come through though, whenever he come back, he come through though. You know what I'm saying? But Jamaica is actually, he's down there training in South Carolina. Uh, and John and them, if those, the batch before, like 2 batches ago, son, they got caught up in the gang shit. Like, I don't know if you recall the story when up in the Bronx, a kid got killed. He was like 12 or 13 or something. One of my boxers was with him when that happened. And when the people came, the kid ran that way and John ran that way. And then after that happened, because they all, used to be together in that particular wave. So all of the other families, they all left the area like, yo, it's getting too crazy over here. Like two of them moved to California. You know what I'm saying? One moved like upstate. But yeah, right now we got a new batch. You know what I'm saying? We got Chase coming up from Medina right now. We got a lot of little kids. You know what I'm saying? We got a new a Mexican brother. He just I think that's our first. I think that's our first Mexican brother. And we got a couple of African brothers. You know what I'm saying? They've discovered us, and they bring people. But it's almost summertime right now, so that's one of the things that happens is in the winter, a lot of the training is inside. You know what I'm saying? But in the summer, when we outside, more people get to see it and be like, all right, yeah, bring my kids back. And we got the art now too. So that probably, sometimes we get the boxes here, right? But then they got little brothers and sisters that's just sitting around. If we get the art class, so, all of the kids got something to do. Probably some kids would be more consistent. Yeah, so we trying to do, like I said, that's the next thing I'm trying to do right now is the art class. You know what I'm saying? It's a little bit. I gotta work on that. I gotta get some other kids, but we gotta get basketball going. We was gonna have a tournament over here before, but the projects, it was under construction or something, so we couldn't get in that park. Between that and the guy said he's coming too with the with the financial literacy. We got some other things. Some lady came by here. It's like I said right now, man. We just gotta get past the show and prove. Everything, I just gotta get that off my plate. But this lady came that she got some kind of daycare, not daycare, some kind of program with kids in it, and she was saying that she could bring them over here to do some work in the garden. Favorite African fighter? John the Beast. But by next year, man, we should have enough programs. You know, what I'm trying to do right now, uh, La Illuminati, right, is expand the program out to, uh, before things changed over at the school in Medina, I was trying to do that. And what I'm trying to do is to expand it out where uh, other people have boxing programs, right? And then we, you know, can move the kids around. Seven on demand broadcast. Yeah, I don't know. It's good. This over there is like I'm supposed to be on there, but I don't know what. Stop it, man. Cloudy's not better than John the Beast. You do a different part each training on the basketball. See, I can't be moving all around, but especially at first. See, that's good, when you got your kind of team established. You know what I mean? Especially because then you go into different parks and then, y'all can challenge all different people. think that's enough boxing. That's enough boxing law in history. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Tobias, you never made it. You know, we had some other interesting conversation in lieu of you. You know, now look, I'm banning you. No speaking in the comment section. No making comments. No making comments. I guess unless you're gonna, in writing explain what it is that you want me to know there, I guess. But, just trying to come back, we don't want to hear that. You know what I'm saying? We say it's a lot of halfway pull-ups or a little bit of full pull-ups better. I mean, yeah, I suppose, it would depend on what it is that you're trying to do. But I mean, if you like, say if you building up, you know what I mean? Because other than, you building up, I'm not sure why you would only be doing a few full pull-ups and a little bit of half pull-ups. But if you was building up, what I would do is do the full pull-ups until you max out, and then do half pull-ups. But see, one thing I found with calisthenics, right, is that every different one that you gotta use stuff like that sometimes. You know what I mean? The halfway pull up. If you wanna, like, that's how you can kind of deal with isolation. You know what I'm saying? The type of isolation that you get with weights. Because mostly calisthenics is compound movements. Luminized. Well, this is a different work. I never heard this one. 20 sets of 8, 5 times a week. So in this right here, right, 20 sets of 8. So what you do this Monday to Friday, and then you skip the weekend? So, yeah, that's Monday to Friday, and then you skip the. Well, that's how I've always worked out, cause on the weekends I'm going in. So I've always pretty much stuck to a Monday to Friday schedule. See, now look, you saying 10, you say you wouldn't do 5 days in a row, so what you do, 2 days on, then a day off, then 2 days on, then a day off. Now I have to be, yeah, then 2 days on, then a day off. See, the thing with this workout La Illuminati is talking about is good volume on that workout. See, Rob Moore, he do all that running. Yeah, I haven't really, over the years, I haven't really been a super, like, I had my time when I was in there. I don't know what Sunya's workout plan is. You see, all different workouts, it depends on what you're trying to do. See, what Rob Bourne is doing is a little more conditioning. Uh, what Sunez is doing is uh, combat training. But this last couple of weeks, I touched a little bit of weights. I did a little military. I did a little military pressing. And some one leg deadlifts with the dumbbells. And I did something else. I think I did some goblet squats with the weights. So this 20 sets of 8, you stick to the 20 sets of 8, but you put the weight vest on to add weight. See, I'm gonna tell you the problem I got with that workout, the 20 sets of 8, right? Is that it's 20 sets. Like that's gonna take a little minute. $20 sets of 8. I mean, you might want to cut it down. You might want to you might want to cut. You might could cut it down to like, even if you cut it down to what, even if you cut it down to one, uh, you know, doing that 20 sets, you're gonna get good volume. That's the thing about keeping it at 8 is two things. You know what I'm saying? Number one, you don't fatigue yourself, and number two, uh, that rep range. You know what I'm saying? La Illuminati's talking about, the add bulk and all that stuff like that. That rep range of 8 is good. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Look, but if once you get to 20 sets and you keeping the rest short enough, and then like you saying, if you got the weight class and you adding weights, yeah, that's even 8. Even 8, man, it's some work for you. Changing the grips. See, right now I'm on the I moved up to a little more complex joints. You know what I'm saying? And my wrist was fucked up. Shit is back now though. You know what I'm saying? So, but when my wrist was fucked up, I wasn't doing like what you call those things? Muscle ups and all that. You know what I'm saying? I get back into those. Yeah, I do another one. See, I be going over to the gym now. Yeah, lunges. I was seeing this dude, I've been trying these new lunges where in Ocean's high power, like I can only get a couple of them in, where it's like, say when you do a lunge, right, and you're using the right leg, you could put your right leg forward or you put it back, right? So then just imagine like you going, you do the lunge with your foot forward and then you go straight on the same leg to the lunge back. And then you keep doing the sets like that, just back and forth without no rest. Those shits is real in the field. Squats, I just got back to squats. I banged my knee in the projects a couple weeks ago, and I could really just now I could just get in the hole right now. Like, probably yesterday was the first day, but I could do deadlifts. See, I go over there to the gym, man. I see they had this shit you could join for $1. So I was like, fuck it, I joined this shit. But, I'm starting to really, it's starting to become very evident why I, didn't really like going to the gym before. The deadlift is really full body. Yeah, swimming ain't no joke. Was I swimming somewhere recently? I think I had a dream I was swimming because I don't remember. First time I noticed that. But yeah, y'all didn't sidetrack me anyway, man. But like I was saying to Tobias, you're welcome to come. Who who's Mark Spector talking to? Is there someone standing behind me named Godbody? Oh, you talking to me? Yeah. I'm still at the school. I don't know who Godbody is. But yeah, Tobias, whenever you're ready to explain, you know, maybe you could write me a letter. Just write a letter up to the school, or whatever it is. But the whole thing you suggested about face to face, bad idea. Bad idea. Other than that, like I said, uh, check out ML Ray this evening. We'll be back Friday on the nah, don't give anybody a cash app on IG. But signing off from here in the G building. Of course, we didn't have any G activity. But like I said, on Friday we'll be back in we'll be back on the City Sciences broadcasting in the meantime, in between time. Peace, everyone. I get out of here.